Originally released on PC last year, the latest in the long list of indie games being ported from PC to their own beefed up versions onto PlayStation is platformer and roguelike game Rogue Legacy. For the purpose of this review, I've started a new game so you can see what it's like from the very beginning. In case you didn't know, this game is hard. You basically play as a knight who sets out to explore a mysterious castle and defeat a boss in each of its 4 unique areas before challenging the unknown final boss in the throne room. What plot there is explained through journals found in different rooms in the castle, but it's really not that important. It sounds simple and basic, but the twist here is that the castle's layout is randomly generated every single time you enter, so no 2 runs of the castle are going to be the same. The locations of treasure chests, enemies, boss doors, room layouts and gateways to the other areas of the castle will all move around and have to be found again by exploring the castle. Say for example, if you found a place that had 2 really good treasure chests in, say, like the bottom second over to the right room on the map, if you went back to go get it again the next time, it would have moved around, so there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to find the room that you had before. Along the way, you'll also collect stuff like gold and blueprints that can be used for different equipment and runes, but I'll go into that in a minute. Where exactly these blueprints and pieces of gold come in is another of Rogue Legacy's great unique features. Every time your character dies in the castle, your next life is one of your previous character's 3 ancestors. So you have a choice of 3 different characters to pick from to go through again. Let's just get rid of this guy here so I can show you what I mean. All these characters listed here, all 3 of them, have unique traits and abilities. Some can use a shield to defend themselves, some have stronger magic attacks, but these are basically just different classes. The real fun is in their traits, or afflictions in some cases. So Kenny, for example, suffers from OCD, meaning every object he walks past will either break whether you attack it or not. And he also suffers from hypergonadism, which means every enemy you hit will go flying backwards because you're constantly permaroided. Lady Blair here, on the other hand, is colourblind and farsighted. Poor girl, meaning everything is in black and white and anything close to you is blurry. Lady Leona suffers from electrophobia, meaning instead of pieces of chicken giving you health, it runs around the screen and you have to attack it because chickens freak you out. After you've chosen your new ancestor, you can use any gold you picked up in your previous life to purchase upgrades or new equipment. Upgrades can include extra health and magic, new classes and additions such as the blacksmith, enchanter or architect, but the upgrades count as your actual level instead of any kind of experience or standard leveling system. So say I have 6 upgrades, that means I'm level 6. The blacksmith can sell you new gear from the blueprints you collect, the enchanter can sell you runes that give you extra abilities like a double jump, and the architect will allow you to lock down the previous castle's layout for a cut of your gold if you want to have another go at a boss or a difficult to reach treasure chest. As you can see, everything here is in black and white and anything near to you is blurry. The catch here is that before you can enter the castle again, you have to hand over all your money to Sharon as payment for another attempt. So the idea is to basically spend as much as you can, or get as much as you can beforehand and try and spend it all to upgrade. Unless you use the architect, the castle will reset every time except for the actual bosses you defeat. So for say story or progression purposes, you don't have to go back and fight them again, but you can if you want in certain instances. One of my favourite traits is the one, which changes the design of the entire castle to look like something from Tron. I've already mentioned the game is actually pretty hard, and just to show you, here's a quick look at a low level attempt at the first boss with one character suffering from gigantism. I don't think I need to explain what's wrong with him. I think you get the idea. The graphics are a mixture of 16-bit visuals and kind of HD colours, which is a bit unusual at first, but you get used to it and it's got its own specific style. It's a strange pairing, but it's good to look at on the small screen and the big screen. Rogue Legacy is also a cross-buy title on the PlayStation, which means that purchasing it for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3 or Vita will let you play it on all 3 of the systems, so you can carry them over whatever you want. One of the handiest things the game does is that it'll actually update your cross-saves every time you turn it on. So you don't have to go through the trouble of putting it on a USB stick or copying it over yourself, it all does it automatically. I've tested it out on all 3, and while it appears to be tailored towards the Vita because it's a very kind of quick burst game, it works perfectly on all 3. In all, it took me around 17 hours to complete on my first run, and I went through about 151 ancestors or characters, if that makes sense. I blundered my way to the first boss and got destroyed, so I would recommend getting to around level 50 or 60, or upgrading 50 or 60 times before you even think of challenging him. The other 3 bosses proved equally difficult, but once I was strong enough to take the last of them on, I kind of made a run to final boss and everything worked out okay. So I don't know, maybe I was just being a bit too cautious, but I loved every minute of it. I finished my first playthrough in less than 2 weeks, and I say first because the game will then put you straight into New Game Plus mode, where you start the castle and the bosses all over again, and all the enemies are a lot more difficult, but you get to keep all the upgrades you've gotten already, and all the equipment and all the runes and everything like that, so you're not really going in blind again. As you can guess, I'm currently deep into my second playthrough and I have no intention of stopping. Rogue Legacy is out now on the PlayStation Store for around €13, and you should definitely go buy it. It gets a 5 out of 5. I'll leave you with some more footage of my playthrough from New Game Plus mode.